Hello and welcome to the Vital Blend. I am Anthony, and today I want to go over 5 ways that you can dramatically improve your health. These are the very same 5 ways that I outlined in my book of the same name, and this is what helped me to lose 50 pounds 10 years ago. I've kept the weight off. In my 50s now, I feel much healthier than I ever was in my 40s, and so much more has happened as a result of me just improving my health in so many different ways. And I know that if you can put these 5 things to use for yourself, put them into action, you will also see dramatic changes to your health. And I'm going to let you know in just a little bit where you can get a copy of my book. But let's get into number 1, okay? Number 1, have a daily green smoothie. Now look, you don't have to make a green smoothie every single day if you don't want to, but this is what I did. And we could talk about the benefits of the fruits and vegetables that you put into it and how you make a smoothie. That's all in my book. But one of the things that really helped me was this new habit of buying a blender. I bought a NutriBullet in late 2012, and I said, all right, January 1, 2013, I'm making smoothies every morning. And so that's what I did. And I was in the produce section of the supermarket for the first time, picking up fruits and vegetables. I'm blending them up. I'm making these drinks that look purple and green and blue. And I thought about initially coming up like my book was going to initially be a book about smoothies. But then as I kept learning, I realized that there's a much deeper thing going on here. This isn't just about making a smoothie that tastes good. This is about bridging the gap between diet and disease and the implications. And so I knew that my book had to be a whole lot more. If you want to know how to make a smoothie, I step you through the process and I let you know what's in mine. The only thing that I would take out, I wouldn't put the cacao powder in the way that I was using it before. I decided a few years back that I didn't need the chocolate. It's got caffeine in it, so I would cut that out. But otherwise, I would encourage you to, instead of having bacon and eggs in the morning or a cereal that is just a processed food, try having some either fresh fruits or make yourself a green smoothie. I think that you'll really enjoy it. Now here's number 2. I want you to eat more whole plants, okay? If you're currently on the standard American diet, let's say that you build your meals around steak and chicken and pork and all this kind of stuff, and you want to start eating healthier, one thing that you can do is just start adding in whole plant foods. Like, are you eating a salad before your dinner, let's say, or for lunch? Add a salad. Instead of making smoothies, maybe you can start to build a salad and have fun with that. You can make a fat-free dressing. You can make all kinds of different dressings. That could be fun. You don't have to make a salad. You could make a soup or a stew. The thing is, try to have that before your main dish, all right? Try to add more fruits into your day. The key is you want to take a look at what you're eating and you want to see how much of this would come out of a garden, whole plant foods. I would encourage you to add more of these into your life, okay? Now here's number 3, limit or remove meat. One of the questions that I pose to the readers of my book is, how much meat would you eat if you didn't get it at the grocery store, if it just wasn't there? Most people would have to eat the way that I described. They would have to eat more fruits and vegetables because they wouldn't know how to eat meat unless they knew how to hunt, all right? That automatically should tell you right there that if it's your food, if you really are an omnivore and you really are a carnivore, then if there's no meat at the grocery store, then you should be like, all right, I'll just go out and get it myself. But no, humans are dependent on somebody else to get their meat for them. That's not how it works in nature. Meat-eating animals in nature, they eat it raw. They don't have to flavor it. They probably eat like once or twice a week, maybe at most. Humans are not like those kinds of animals. We are plant eaters. I talk about this in my book. Once I started digging into human design and instinct, it really changed the way that I look at food. And when you learn certain things, you can't unlearn it. It's like, how do you reconcile that? How do you move forward knowing that you're not a meat-eating animal, knowing that putting these highly acidic animal protein into your body, too much of that, too acidic, a burden on your kidneys, highly inflammatory, the growth factors, the potential for cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer, You got to get this stuff out of your diet. You got to cut it back at the very, very, very least. Okay. So this is something that I definitely did. I did it on my own. Nobody told me to do it, and I don't even miss it. Okay. And something else, this is number 4, stop consuming dairy. If there is one thing that I could recommend that people get rid of totally, it's dairy. When we used to live in scarcity and we didn't know where our next meal was coming from, all options were on the table. Yeah, cow's milk is a viable source of nutrition in the absence of nothing else, all right? But we live in abundance now. We don't need to be drinking the secretions of animals. We do not need to be doing that. Once I started learning, and I got to credit Dr. McDougall with this, once I started learning about milk and its contents, I used to not even think about it. I thought milk was milk. And then once I started realizing that the contents, the protein profile, let's say, of cow's milk versus human milk is very, very different because the role is different. Cows, they blow up very, very quick. So the growth factor in milk, much higher. The protein is much higher in cow's milk than it is in human breast milk. And, the role of milk is only for a limited time, right? When you're an infant, and then you're off of it for life. But we're born into a world where adults keep drinking milk. And not only that, but we keep drinking the milk of a cow. It's all for business. It's all for money. People think they need cow's milk. We live in a clown world, folks. It really is. And when I was learning this stuff, I could just feel the unplugging from the health matrix, as I like to say it. This stuff changed me and how I looked at food. And so getting rid of dairy is the number one thing that I would recommend ditching. So many people have problems with dairy, and that's because your body is rejecting it. You're putting cow liquid into your body and you're getting eczema, upset stomach, diarrhea. That's your body's way of saying, stop putting dairy into our body. Okay, so get rid of the dairy is probably the biggest thing that I could tell you. And here is number 5, stop eating junk food. All right, this is a big one, folks, because I see food as falling into 2 categories. You've got real food, which comes from nature. I call them garden foods. They grow off a tree, fruit, vegetables, whole grains, beans and legumes, and that kind of stuff. That's real food. And then you've got food-like products. They're made in a laboratory, all right? We're not built for those kinds of foods. We're built for real foods. When you put products into the human body, our body is trying to find out ways to get rid of it. And it's going to try, and it's not always successful. And this is where we get tired, and we got pains, and we got eczema, and we're overweight, and we're basically, our body is bogged down trying to deal with this pollution that we're putting into our body. You got to get rid of these products. This is not food, and you need food. Okay, so ditch the junk food. Very, very important to take inventory of what you're eating. If you can get rid of the products and you can get rid of the secretions from animals and you can cut out or cut back on animal protein, which burdens the human body, and you can eat whole plant foods and maybe make a smoothie every single day where you're drinking, fruits and vegetables with so much nutrients and so much fiber and everything to help give you what you need and clean you on the inside so that you can absorb what you're eating and eliminate the acids and the junk that your body needs to get rid of, then you are going to start seeing some dramatic changes to your health. That's why I wrote this book, is because it's worked for me. It still does. And this is the kind of thing that I believe can work for anyone. And I wrote this book because I wanted to change people's lives. And I had someone reach out and tell me that it did. I got this review from Elisa back in 2020, and this is what she says. She says, my doctor had recommended getting my proteins from plants instead of animals in order to level out my blood glucose levels and to lose weight. I did some further research online and I ordered Anthony's book. Once it arrived, I read it within a week and it completely changed how I see and think about food. So then Elisa started to take action with these 5 ways to change your health, and this is what started happening within a month. In the last month, I lost 13 pounds. I lost the daily after meals heartburn. I no longer suffer from digestive issues that I had assumed were from my gallbladder removal 6 years ago, and my blood glucose levels are remaining in the low normal range. My blood pressure was not dangerously high, but was in the borderline high normal range, and now has dropped to the low end of normal. Thank you, Anthony. Your book has changed my life and the lives of my family in countless positive ways. Yeah, I mean, love to hear this kind of stuff. And I talked to Elisa about this, and she told me that in the early days, her family would make fun of her. You know, they go out to eat and they're having a steak and she's having rabbit food, right? But, you know, as they saw her health improve and completely turn around, they also were so impressed that her parents adopted a whole food plant-based diet, and as seniors, they came off their meds. So it's just amazing how this stuff can pay itself forward. You know, once you learn this kind of stuff, you don't want to hold it in. You want to share it. You hope that people get it enough to where they want to take action. And that's what I hope that you do. That's why I'm a health coach. So if you are excited by this and you don't know where to get started, well, this is why I became a health coach. I want to help you. So reach out. My contact information is below. My consults are free. You've got literally nothing to lose. And if you want to buy my book, it's on my Amazon storefront. I've got a Vital Blend Amazon storefront now. Just know that I've got a storefront with whole food, plant-based related products, books, cookbooks, and kitchen tools, all right? Know that when you purchase something from my storefront that I do get a commission. It doesn't cost you anything extra. Things that you would purchase anyway from Amazon. It helps to support the Vital Blend, my efforts to help educate. If there's something that's not in my store, I can add it. I can put a note as to why you recommend it so that others can see it. You'll help others too. You'll help the Vital Blend. It's a win-win for everybody. So I encourage you to go check it out. Real quickly, I want to show you some things that are in here. In the book section, you'll see the Starch Solution by Dr. John McDougall. You know, that was a book that inspired me tremendously in the early days. I would definitely recommend getting Dr. John McDougall's book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you want to get a handle on habits and get into the nuts and bolts of habits, Atomic Habits is the gold standard, okay? And speaking of gold standards, Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. I've talked about this book plenty of times. How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger, The Pleasure Trap, Mastering Diabetes, The Cheese Trap. I've also got an area for cookbooks. You can pick up the Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease cookbook that the Esselstyns use for their recipes. Unprocessed by Chef AJ. You can pick up the How Not to Die cookbook, Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show cookbook, and this one called Plant You. Have you ever seen this one? My cousin is a chef, and she recommended it to me. She says, you know, have you ever heard of this cookbook? And I knew that I had featured Carly's story on my Facebook page, but I took a look at the cookbook, and it's very well done. I would recommend you check it out. I know that it's a big seller, but I haven't heard people talk about it. But I would definitely recommend Plant You. And I've also got a valuable kitchen tools section where you can pick up stuff like the Instant Pot. I've heard people raving about that. Vitamix, which I use that every single day. You know, stainless steel cookware. You can also find the storefront at the Facebook page for the Vital Blend. Just click on the Shop Now button right below my header. All right, so thanks so much for checking out this video. If you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone that you know. Let me know if you've put any of these 5 into action and how it has helped you the way that it's helped me. All right, and if you need help with any of this, you're not sure how to get started, it sounds kind of interesting, let's talk. That's why I do what I do, all right? My contact information is below. Check out the Vital Blend on Amazon to help support my efforts here. And I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to love yourself. I want you to eat more plants, all right? And I'll see you soon.